Hotline. The Harold Washington Post 1987 Hotline show is live. Now I turn you over to that fantastic commander. You know who he is. Boom, boppa, boom, bam.
And thank you very much. I'd like to welcome you this evening to the Harold Washington American Legion Post 1987 Hotline. Hotline is what we're talking about the hot topics about concerning the veterans and everything. And we have a brother, Richard Pitts, from Operation American
Wounded
Warriors. And he got a lot of things that he want to discuss what's happening, not just in Brownsville, but all over. But mainly, his topic is about what he could do or what they could do, the people that he represented for the veterans. So without further ado, we'll turn it over to him.
Well, thank you for the opportunity of being here.
Yes.
You're very welcome.
We're grateful for the opportunity to have a forum to discuss a lot of the issues that are occurring with veterans, our sons and daughters as they return back and they're displaced in the housing, social, economically, and more importantly, they have severe mental issues, a crisis in the community, the high rate of suicides, homicidal ideations, the number that are incarcerated, those that are self-medicating. We like to start off by saying that our community has to come to the mantle and be more accountable for the issues that our young people are doing, especially as they're returning. We have veterans here from World War I, World War II. The ones in World War I are all gone, but World War II veterans are still suffering. When they were in war and come back, they were referred to as shell shock. And the quadre of issues of the veterans are trying to get benefits from that era is just ridiculous. We have to be more of a voice for the disenfranchised and the poor veterans that have no voice. Today I spent a whole day at New Mount Pisgah Veteran Home and found that their conditions there represent a microcosm of what's occurring in Chicago and the nation in general. How to tap into medical services, how to go to counseling. In our community, the area of therapy is a bad word. We don't like to admit that we have problems.
No, we don't, because see, the idea concerning that, just like whatever problem, I could see it in someone else, but I can't see it in myself. You know, and who am I to judge when I should be looking at the man in the mirror and telling him he has a problem? But see, we don't see that though. So how can this be? How can this issue be faced?
I think in our main institution in the African American community has always been the church. The church has to be more prepared. They need have voices in the community that can come up and address the ills that are occurring. So much suffering is going on in our community, and there's a reason why there are so many liquor stores on every corner. There's a reason why drug epidemic is so high. But there's a strange thing about legislation in America. It's only a problem when it affects the significant others.
That's so true.
And when
That must be the majority community.
Yes, when the Europeans are affected, it's a crisis. We've had the crack epidemic for the last 30 years, and our people are suffering, but when they say they have other issues, it's a major crisis.
Well, why do we continue to let this situation foster? And kudos to 45 because of the prison bill that was passed a little while ago. And as I heard some folks say, it don't go far enough, but it is a step in the right direction. Because I remember when Nixon ran for president and he had this whole war on crime. Then the Clintons, 3 strikes and you're out. And then you got a lot of folks in the majority community jumping up and down because they figured if you lock up everybody, throw the key away, it was going to be a panacea. Well, it backfired. So, and then you get back to the church. I hate to say this, but you got so many churches or too many churches who spend more time trying to bring in the dollars than take care of their parishioners. So that's another issue. We can deal with the issue of the majority community, but we also got to deal with the issue of these ministers not doing their job. Prime example. And the minister said to himself, you may not like it, but I gave my wife a $200,000 Lamborghini. Wait a minute. What's the point? You got parishioners in your church who can't pay their mortgage, can't pay their child's tuition. Yeah, you probably did earn that money on the other avenues that you're involved in. But what message is he sending? And he probably got some of our veterans in his congregation suffering from what you talked about, PTSD and other issues. And as long as we don't take the platforms that we have, whether it's radio or TV, to bring folks in like you with your background and to beat the drum and let folks know in the community, we got a crisis on our hands. And we have to get folks to understand, as the commander just pointed out, when you look in that mirror and you know you got a problem, there are facilities and places that you can go and get help.
But we don't see that though in our community, just as he was talking about. Because the idea, excuse me, whom am I to judge? When I could see it in somebody else, but why I can't see it in myself? And who am I with addiction? Mm-hmm. I'm sitting up there, whatever my addiction is, whether it's cocaine, alcohol, or whatever type of drug it is. But yeah, I'm sitting up there doing my thing, don't care about nobody else. Mm-hmm. But see, the idea now, when I look out, take my glasses off because they got rose-colored lens and stuff. Now I could see them, and I shake my head and say that's a shame. But see, what I should be doing is shaking my head at myself, say, that is a shame for what I'm doing. Because see, the idea, it's hard, when he was just saying this, it's hard for not only, I'm going to just put it this way, it's hard for a person, especially a man,
yes,
to ask for HELP.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You know, because sometimes we may feel that we need it, but, you know, oh, I'll be all right in a little while. Mm-hmm. Well, then, after a while, how long is a little while?
Yes.
A long time.
Because, see, that little while may come to a sudden end.
Yes.
See, and in the black community, as we were just talking about, you know, black men, it takes them a long time to go to these doctors to get checked out.
Mm-hmm.
Whether with our women, well, women, you know, if they feel a little pain, something like that, a woman will jump up quick.
Yes.
But with a man, you know,
He
us
gonna
brothers,
procrastinate.
like that. Yes, because see, the idea, I got a doctor named Rothschild.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got a doctor named Walgreens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of, you know, going to a facility, if you're a veteran, a VA facility. If you a civilian, well then they go to county or whatever it may be. Well, I don't have time to sit up in no blank emergency room.
Right.
I'll be there all day. I done seen myself 3 or 4 times. One time you ain't gonna see yourself at all. Mm-hmm. But see, this is a lot of things that in our community we need to bring to justice. That when you need it, ask for it. Mm-hmm. Don't be looking for no shame and no game and saying like it's supposed to come to me automatic. You got to go get it.
Let me say this, Commander, because what I want you folks out there in television land to understand, when you see those commercials on TV about the American warriors, and they ask you for their support, And remember, you can give support in a multitude of ways. Okay? Now, Brother Pitts has come out to tell you veterans, we got something here to help you. You guys should be getting a pen and some paper
And listen to him.
and listen to him. Take down his number and go see him. Brother Pitts, how long you been doing this?
30 years.
You've been an advocacy for
Yes.
30-some years. So you done seen it all.
I've seen a lot of it. Each day you can learn more, you know.
Yes.
Yes. I think one of the greatest things that we have to be cognizant of today is that the great lesson we learned from the new Jim Crow written by Michelle Alexander, it depicted mass incarceration.
Yes.
Last year, Sheriff Dart asked me to start working on the largest outpatient mental health clinic for Cook County Jail. Cook County Jail happens to be one of the largest mental health institutions in the country.
It is.
And I was there, and I was in the psych ward, and I worked with a lot of the clinicians. And we have a high percentage of veterans there. And a lot of them in there for vagrancies. So we have to look at how can we advocate for people that don't have a voice. How can we become more proactive and less reactive? The Bronzeville community is where we're setting up our main headquarters. It would be at 40th and Cottage Grove, the Masonic Temple. We
Yes,
are
I know
in
where
a
that's at.
position to provide services to over 400 clients a day. And we bringing in some of the greatest minds in the clinicians in the area of psychology, social work, and psychiatric medicine. We want to be utilizing a holistic approach.
Right.
We're going to meet them where they are versus where we expect them to be. And more importantly, we're going to understand that they're part of us. The opioid crisis, since it's impacting people from prescription meds, that's a problem.
It's very much a problem.
But when you don't have a job, you don't have a hope, you really don't have anything in a capitalistic society based on social inequalitarianism. We're here to tell you today that the veterans, and especially the ones of color, have been looked over, passed over, and never provided adequate services. We hope that our program can address a lot of the issues. A lot of the things are taboo, like the Navy SEALs now. The Navy SEALs have a high incident rate of rapes among the rank and file, and they don't like talking about that. So many of the taboos that we don't talk about. In our culture, therapy is a bad word. And you were talking about the role of the churches. There are churches that are preaching liberation theology. Those are the churches you need to go to that trying to provide some kind of support, not just always hold a
Just
hand
giving
out.
back.
We need more liberation theology because without the black church, our community never would have evolved at all.
Right.
So we have to go back to the black church and hold them accountable. Those that
Yes.
are not doing a good job, we got to hold them accountable. And we have to also send a shout out to President Trump for doing this second chance bill that's been sitting dormant for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I look at him as a blessing in disguise because President Trump has woke us up.
Oh yeah.
We have been in great hibernation. He's
Like
a
a bear.
George Wallace
Yes.
of our time.
Yes.
And so many of our people, we have to see a sermon before we can believe it.
Yes.
Yes.
We have to see racism before we can internalize it.
Yes.
So he embodies everything that's racist. But the sad part about it, where's the Republican Party for all these years that preach conservative, physical conservative? Where's the budget? President Clinton left $800 billion surplus. Under this president, we're over $1 trillion in red ink. Right
And
now,
blame it on Obama.
right now we're in a crisis. Do you know that we were removing our troops from Syria?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know that we're destroying NATO?
Yes.
And it's impacting us. Young people, who you think gonna be the infantry? It sure is not gonna be the senator's sons and daughters. Who you think gonna be on the front line when they gonna be shooting the grenades?
They call them the poor, down and out.
The down and out. So if we don't pay attention and hold our elected officials accountable and start taking civic classes, learn history. It shouldn't be a child in Chicago that don't know about Jim Crow. It shouldn't be a child in Chicago that don't know about racism, affirmative action, and our role.
Right.
And too often we get too complacent because we feel that we got a few dollars and we're beyond a paycheck that we don't want to give anything back. But no group in American society has made a greater contribution than the veterans,
And that's for real.
especially the African American veterans, the Tuskegee Airmen. We had to endure more to receive even less. And now they're back, and what are we doing? We're sitting here talking about issues that are occurring, but how many organizations are stepping up to the mantle? We got to hold the Veterans Administration accountable. When less than 3% of all the vendors are people of color, there's a problem.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And we have to look at those athletes like LeBron James that are giving back. We should start asking for more contributions back. We're the only race that don't believe in helping more of our people than we do.
No, because we're so busy trying to get it for ourselves and to keep it to ourselves instead of sharing. That's another thing that we were talking about. You know, just like the famous Moffett Marine Point. Now, that's the first black Marine base and where they used to train people at. You know, the black soldiers, black Marines and stuff like that. So now that's about to be shut down because they're in 100 and plus hole. Okay, just like the American Legion was formed in 1919 over in Paris, France, right after World War I. And the first black post is right here in Chicago, was opened in 1919 in June. That's the George L. Giles post. It's 99 years old this year. Next year, it will be 100 years old. The same as the American Legion. But see, the idea, these are great institutions, black institutions, that's failing. But you know, when they go look for help, ask the Congress or some of these politicians and stuff like that, politicians holler, if you vote for me, we're going to do this for the veterans. And when they put them in, like we're going to say, do we have to say again about this female pilot,
Yeah.
the senator,
Yeah.
you know, that we put in there?
She's AOL. She's AWOL.
That we put in there,
Yes.
and she haven't did anything for us yet.
Not a thing.
And see, that's a shame. All these politicians, whether you're Republican or Democrat, all of them will holler about what they're going to do for the veterans, including your president, Trump type. You know, going to say what all he going to do. But see, the idea, he putting money in for the military, not for
The VA
the VA.
side of the system.
So what he put in there for the budget, he taking it out of the administration. So that's cutting us some programs short and stuff like that. And as far as programs being cut short, it's hard for a veteran, male or female, to try to get their benefits. Because now you gotta go through, we already been going through red tape, now we gotta go through redder tape, and then they got this new thing that came out called, what's that, REAP,
What?
this new program they come out with, the VA come out with.
Where you can go to private sector to get treatment.
No, about Rapid. I think that's it, something similar to that. Where they said, where you sign your name on this, and
Okay, go ahead, caller.
Hi, this is Clara Hubbard from Senior Talk. I just wanted to extend a phenomenal show and love that you gentlemen are bringing out some phenomenal points that are imperative to our community. And as I sit and host my programming, I want to be a branch to you in anything that I can do. But I think this needs to be on a national level. And what I'm very concerned is that as we are now into this reasoning of voting, we're making a stance. And I love you, Commander, and Richard Pitts, because we are making sure that our voices are heard. We're coming out of the walls. And what I'm telling our community is this. When we have community people who come and they want to come to our community and talk about they're voting, you know, the candidates are already running the senior buildings right now. So what they do is now I tell the seniors, don't listen to them fully. You tell them what your requirements are as you're planning to vote, as they want to serve the city and the state. Don't let them just feed you what they're going to do. We have to be and make them accountable to what we need.
That's true.
So that's where we are right now. We got a lot of great things ahead. I just want to commend you, brothers. And I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the phenomenal brother on the right, but that's my boy as well.
Travis.
Hey, Travis, you know I love you.
Thank you, my sister.
Commend you both. And as we say, I will be boots in the ground together, because the voices now, we have to come out of the walls and make our requests known. And we can't be afraid to do it. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time and for a phenomenal show. Thank you.
And thank you for your service to our community.
And your show.
And your show especially. And thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Okay, now back to you.
We're still tuning in. Go ahead, gentlemen. Have a good show.
Thank you.
Okay, now back to you. Now, the work that you're doing, how much pressure it is on you?
It's a tremendous amount of pressure, because the Europeans don't feel that we should be doing anything, providing any services no more than janitorial. They don't feel that we have the cognitive ability to make assessment, diagnosis, or formulate a treatment plan. One thing that we can say that we do in the African American community, nobody loves us more than we love ourselves.
Amen.
Nobody can diagnose us like we can diagnose ourselves.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you what it feels to be a European, because I've never been and never wanted to be.
Okay.
What we try to do is to understand that we are going against a mammoth giant, the VA administration.
Yes.
And one of the worst things that President Trump has ever did, he's never went to any facilities outside the country that are actively engaged in any type of war. But he has fooled so many middle-class Europeans thinking he's for them. But he's made his money off of filing lawsuits and paying a quarter on the dollar. But he is also in a position now where at any minute, with his lack of cognitive rationale, he can declare war anywhere.
Yes.
So we're going to have to be prayed up and prepared mentally and physically, and more importantly, emotionally, to deal with the new upcoming elections. We need not to always just vote straight Democratic. We need to hold Mr. Pritzker accountable before he even gets in office. Because
And
if
the
you
rest
don't
of these
demand anything,
politicians.
you don't get anything. And the rest of the politicians. How could Mayor Daley for all these years have 50 people to vote the same way he do? I can't even get my wife to agree with me half the time.
Well,
He can get 50 people to vote the same way
he did that.
100% of the time. I just don't know. It's just
He did that by telling them, if you don't vote the way I want you to vote, you won't get no crumbs. And they fell for the okie doke because, see, once again, we're here to teach too. The aldermen have the power, not the mayor. The charter of the state of Illinois give all powers to the aldermen. Remember that you candidates. Brother Pitts,
Yes, sir.
when you having fun, time flies.
Oh, yes, it is.
And next year, 2019, when we come back, you got to come back.
I'll be happy
you
to.
have to come back to the
Thank
show. Because, see, that means it's a lot of things that haven't been talked about.
Yes.
We're going to bring it to the table. And we're talking about this table right here.
We want to shout out to our technician. We want to shout out to Jack and his wife. We want to shout out to the police officers who lost their lives this week. And we want to shout out to the civilians who also lost their lives. And remember, brothers and sisters out there in television land, we're all in this together. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian,
We all are
all
people.
in this together.
We
Okay.
bleed the same blood.
And it's red.
Okay.
Brother Pitts, thank you,
for the
sir.
opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Until next time.
And to the First Lady.
Yes.
All right, you all have a good night. And Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you next week. Then we'll say Happy New Year. Thank you.